Hi guys, Mark's here, Everything Tenray. Today we're gonna talk about my action camera setup, or when filming enduro riding, or on the T7 more spiritual riding, so to say. So not adventure style riding. So there's a lot of different ways to film this. People have their GoPro on their handlebars, on their helmet, on their chest, and I'm just gonna tell you guys my way of doing it, what I think is the best way of doing it. So first off, of course, you need a camera, right? I got a GoPro Hero 8. There's so many different better options as well. Doesn't really matter which camera you have, other than not using your phone. That is, of course, a given. But you need that. Of course, you need, if you don't have a one of these protective shells or whatnot. It depends on which GoPro you have. If you have the fastener here underneath, or if you have to have a clamshell for it to be able to fasten it. Uh, I also opted to go with a battery port which has opening, so I can connect a USB-C cable to the camera and have it hooked up to a power bank. And that's because the battery life of the GoPro is pissy, to say the least. So yeah, I need to have a constant power source when riding enduro, especially if I want to film for a longer period of time, let's say 1 hour or 40 minutes. The battery in the GoPro is no bueno, so to say. So I have a small power bank or a big power bank. It doesn't really matter. You have to test yourself, or test it yourself, and see which milliampere hour power bank is enough for you, depending on how you ride and how much you have your camera on and how much you film and have to scrap and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I do. I have a power bank, GoPro, and now we come to the fun part. So I don't have my helmet up here, but you have seen previous films from mine that I have had a GoPro under the cap, or the sun visor of my Enduro helmet, which has worked great. And I also have on my adventure helmet, I have a mounting on the cheek, or the, yeah, here on the shin, on the helmet itself, which is fine for adventure riding because you have the camera on your head, you can move around, and wherever you look the camera will shoot, which is great. But when it comes to enduro riding or harder, more spiritual riding, you want to capture the essence of, that, yeah, it's a bit tricky here, it's maybe a bit steeper, and you have a really uneven ground, and so on. You need to show that in the film. And if you have the camera on your helmet, your head is always like a gyroscope almost, right? So you keep that straight and you keep that, level. And on your body, it's also like that, but not as much. So that's why I opted to go for a chest mount. And not only due to it shows you more of the action, but when it comes to competing in enduro and the rules and the legislation they have when competing in bigger competitions and so on, you are not allowed to have a camera on your helmet because it's a, it sticks out, it's dangerous. You're allowed to have helmet lights, which is like mounted on a metal frame, which is ridiculous, and not a GoPro that will just snap off and fall off. But anyways, you're not allowed to have it on your helmet anymore, so that's why we go for a chest rig. And GoPro itself, they have a chest rig that you can buy. Maybe I can show that in like a picture here. That works, but depending on what kind of body armor you have or what kind of gear you have on, bags and whatnot, it might not be the optimal way to put your camera on. So I opted to have it two ways, depending on body armor and riding situation. So I have the Leat body armor, body protector 6.5 here, which is a hard shell kind of thing, and you have like an under jacket with elbow protection and so on. I mounted one of those GoPro clips quick detach things here on the chest, which now it's been removed. But I mounted that and I screwed it in and used sticky tape. It works. It has fallen off once, but yeah, it works. So that's one option. The only problem is if you have a backpack, depending on the backpack, the buckle can be in the way here. So maybe not optimal in that way sense. So next way of doing it, and the way I'm filming now on for most of the time, is actually mounting the camera on my USWE bag. So sorry for all the noise, but yeah. So if you have a USWE bag, a hydration pack, which I have here, doesn't really matter which model. It only differs what kind of GoPro attachment you have for it. So this USWE bag have a buckle kind of switch out, so you can have this bigger pad here which has a GoPro mount on it, one of those quick detach GoPro mounts. So I just have this on my chest here instead of the regular buckle, which otherwise looks like this, just a tiny one. Um, this works great. The only downside is that you know, it will be a bit hotter underneath this pad here than original without it. But for me, that's just much better to have that. And depending on which USWE bag you have either a smaller kind of little pad that goes just from one shoulder strap, or you have this bigger one. So yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna put this on and you can see how it looks without my body protection underneath. Otherwise I have a Liat um, light something body protection which I have under my jersey, and I just have this bag over the jersey with the GoPro and everything. Of course, USB cable on the shoulder strap that goes down to the camera. And remember guys, if you have one of these battery ports with the open for the charging port, it's not waterproof. So remember that, don't go swimming with it. If you crash in a big puddle, you might mess up your GoPro. That's just one of the ways you can fuck it up, but I mean, I need the power, so I have to deal with that if I have to. So let's see how it looks on. So there we go. I got it on. Of course, it's a bit loose now because I don't have any body protector underneath. Um, and you can go for either have the GoPro downwards or upwards, but if you have it up, it's hard to angle it back, because when you're standing upright and you're leaning forward, so this needs to be angled, as you can see, a little bit upwards, pointing upwards. And you have your helmet as well and everything, and this slides up a bit when riding. Yeah, but this for me is the optimal way to film your enduro riding or spiritual adventure riding or whatnot, going off track in the woods, uh, mountain biking, whatever. So check out USWE's website, check out all the different options you have for your USW bag or other bag for that matter. You know, you can have another kind of hydration pack or just a GoPro chest rig, which works great as well. Or come up with your own one that I did with my Liat, the 6.5 body protector. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, you know, write it down below and I'll answer your questions ASAP. And you know, I almost always forget to mention something, but hopefully I covered most of the stuff needed. I will give you some links down below as well, and yeah, you can see the different options that are available, and I'll see you out in the next video. Hopefully more T7 riding as well. I'm starting using it as a commuter, which is not really optimal with with the Michelin tracker tires on going to the office, but if you don't have a car, then you don't have a car, so that's it. So be going out this weekend training enduro, not with the T7, but we have the Swedish Rally um, website as well, or the Facebook group, and we do roadbook rallies. So I will try to sneak a few of those in and film that as well. So stay tuned, guys. See you later. Alligator. Cheerios. Bye bye.